my name is Shadow Retro, and today I want to once again talk about Atlas. While I was editing my last Atlas build, I came up with a few ideas to actually make it better. So I would like to cover those ideas in this quick little video and just tell you what I actually did do and how I changed my Atlas build in-game. The footage that you are seeing is ideally unedited. That's my plan, at least. I'm not sure if that's actually what's going to happen once I edit it, but it should be unedited footage from the start of a survival mission all the way to the end, so you might be able to noticeably see the differences in the Atlas build that I changed compared to what you would have seen in my last video. Because I just made an Atlas video so recently, I will not be going into detail about Atlas's abilities, or will I be going into detail about the other elements of the build. So if you're interested in that, please go check out my last video. It will be in the description below. This video will only be covering the actual changes I made to the build. To start with, I actually mentioned in the video that you could put Violet Archon shards on him for melee critical damage. Now, I thought that was such a good idea that I went and did that myself, and I placed 5 Archon Violet shards with him. Yes, 5 instead of 4. I replaced my Amber shard that would give him energy max on spawn, because I came up with a better way to give you all the energy you need to at the very start of a mission without needing to drop an energy pad or needing any energy max on spawn, things like Preparation or Amber shards, which was the second change I made to the build. And that is the Xata's Invigoration Grimoire build that I made, as you can see here. It is a very basic, just utility secondary weapon build with Augur Seeker and Orca Pact for that shield to energy conversion, and of course Amalgam Barrel Diffusion for the rolling speed. And then you just have basic stuff. I did mod it for some viral priming, though it doesn't have the best status chance, so it isn't really going to be used there, but I figured that adding some viral priming with Sure Shot, Frostbite and Pistol Pestilence will give it a bit more utility, and of course Gunslinger for fire rate. But the main reason why we're using the Grimoire is for Xata's Invigoration, which is a tome mod which can only be placed on the tome secondaries, and currently Grimoire is the only tome in the game because it is still new with the Whisper of the Wall update that came out in December, so not that long ago. Basically, what Xata's Invigoration does, if you don't know, is that when you activate the alt fire of the tome, which will fire out this electric ball that will hit enemies that are close to it, Xata's Invigoration will give you energy regen over time, and it stacks on each enemy that you hit. I don't have the exact number on the top of my hands how much energy regen you can get, but do know that when paired with Nourish, which is already on my build, it gives you a lot of energy. So all I need to do at the start of the mission is cast Nourish, then activate the alt fire for my Grimoire, and Xata's Invigoration along with Nourish will give me max energy basically. And that's going to be all the energy I need to set up my damage rotation, and from then on I never even need to touch the Grimoire. I only need to activate its alt fire once and then I'm good to go. Never have to use it ever again, which is very nice and very simple. The third and last change that I made to the build, however, is, and this is something that someone in the comment section actually said in my build, but I already got the idea from a friend of mine to do this before they mentioned it, is that I replaced the electricity and heat mods on my stat stick with just the radiation melee mod, the one that gives you radiation damage and heavy attack efficiency, which freed up another slot. So I actually added Primed Feather Strike to give my weapon also toxic. So now it's doing toxic, radiation, corrosive, and viral. Toxic is also very good for raw damage builds, but you would never really use it over corrosive or radiation unless you were specifically doing a Corpus mission, because toxic will ignore shields. So having it with all those other stats means that this build now against corrupted enemies, where you're seeing armored enemies as well as shielded enemies pretty regularly, it just destroys, absolutely devastates, especially because we have the 50% extra critical damage times 5 from the 5 violent shards that we have. So yeah, that's all the updates that I made to the build. I didn't want to just leave it in the description or comment on the video. I figured that there was enough information here to make a quick little video about it. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this little quick video, and again, if you haven't checked out my Atlas build, or if you're interested in Atlas's abilities, please do check out my other video. I do go into detail about what a stat stick is in that video as well, if you're interested in what a stat stick is. So yes, do check out that video. But until next time, bye bye.